and hopefully during the week or whenever we can, we're going to have them up. We're going to find out how to put them up there, and the church will really be bright. Every time I read this page of the Gospel, I relive what I consider to be the highlight of my trip to the Holy Land. If you remember, some time ago I went to the Holy Land, and one of the things we did, of course, we went to Nazareth. We saw the house where Jesus had grown up, supposedly, and then we went into this church called the Church of the Synagogue, which is the church, the synagogue that the Gospel talks about. And the guy who happened to be from Israel, he said, nothing has changed in the synagogue. This is exactly as it was at the time of Jesus. The only addition is the altar because it's a church. Then he showed us the different parts of the synagogue, and he showed us a little platform on the ground, a little square. He said, this is where Jesus would have stood to read because he was a guest rabbi, a guest speaker. And after he was done with that, he says, Father, would you please come over? And he had me stand right there and read the same passage that we just heard read in the Gospel. Imagine how I felt. I was reading where Jesus would have been reading the same words he read, even though in a different language. I felt like saying, somebody blew me to this place. I don't want to move anymore. And then it dawned on me. I said, why am I so excited? All right, so here I am standing where Jesus stood. But if I'm the priest I should be, the roles will be reversed. And Jesus will be wherever I am. Wherever I am as a priest, the priest is another Christ, there will be Jesus. And then he said, it doesn't apply just to me. We read about the Spirit. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. And I was given that Spirit when I was ordained a priest. But prior to that, I was given that Spirit when I was baptized and I was confirmed. And so looking around, every one of you has received the very same Spirit. Every one of you. You will all receive the Spirit that Jesus speaks about in the Gospel. As a consequence, what applies to me should apply to you. If you are the Christians you should be, wherever you will be, there will be Jesus. Think about that. Isn't that exciting? And I said, why do I get excited? Because here, the physical, the stomach of Jesus was here and I'm here. When the Jesus is still here, wherever I go, wherever you go, wherever you are, he should be there with you if you are the Christians you should be. Wherever I go, he should be there with me if I am the priest that I should be. It's exciting. I don't see anybody jumping up and down. That's exciting. Sometimes I wish we were like the people of the first reading. You heard about the first reading? Ezra is reading the Word of God, and the people are so taken by it that they are crying. And if you remember, some time ago, some of you might give up your age if you remember that, the priest had something hanging on his wrist. Remember that? Had a piece which was called the maniple. And that originally was nothing more than a handkerchief that the priest used to wipe his eyes when he started crying. Nowadays, priests are tough. We don't cry anymore, so we just preach and we do our thing. We should be excited about this thing. Jesus is wherever I am. If I am the Christian I should be. Jesus goes wherever I go. If I am the Christian I should be. I gave a test, I gave a composition to some of my students in my religion class once, and the title was, what would Jesus look like if he lived today? And one of the girls who wanted to get an A answered, Jesus would look like you, meaning me. She got the A, by the way. But not because she said that, because she got the point. He looks like us. He looks like us. A friend of mine said, I never met a mirror I didn't like. Should be the same thing, because every time you look in the mirror, you'd say, I am looking at Jesus. Because he Through us, he visits people. Through us, he does things for people. Through us, he loves people. Wherever I am, there is Jesus. If I am the priest I should be. So even though I was so excited to be on the spot where Jesus was, once I realized what I was doing, I said, whoa, he told me so many beautiful things that I don't have to be here to feel his presence. I can be back home. Last week I was sitting down watching the Ravens, and he was next to me. He wasn't quite as sad as I was when the Ravens lost. He figured, they're